I really appreciate this.
Yeah, not a problem.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules, MMA fight coverage. Tell us about your advocacy for Down syndrome. How'd you get into that?
A friend of mine, Kevin Kroger, his son has Down syndrome. So that's kind of how I got into it. And he just kind of mentioned to me and kind of went from there.
Nice. If this fight goes well, who do you want next? Any maybe rematches?
We'll get to the rematches. I really don't care who I have next. I'm just looking to stack some wins and get better. This is my second camp with Team Elevation out here in Denver, Colorado. So I'm continuing to get better with this team. So the more fights I have with them, the better we're gonna get, and all the way up to the title. So we'll definitely have some time for rematches.
In which way have you improved with Team Elevation compared to Jackson Wink?
We've been focused a little more on the basics. And it's just the group of guys that I train with. It's a smaller group, and we're real in tune with what we're doing and how we're doing it.
What's your strategy going to this fight? Your opponent's 11-0.
Put a little pressure on him, make him make mistakes, and grind him out. I have really good wrestling base and really good, closing the distance and stuff like that. And then if the hands come, the hands come. So that's kind of my strategy right now.
Can you briefly describe about your upbringing in South Dakota?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I grew up in a small town outside of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It was called Harrisburg, South Dakota, where my mom was from, and had cornfields in the backyard and everything like that. So grew up out in the country a little bit, and also doing a lot of sports: baseball, football, track, and of course wrestling. And so it Sioux Falls and Harrisburg, smaller communities, and everybody's nice and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I am now and how I approach this sport. Even though it's a gruesome sport, I still try to be nice to everybody and treat everybody with respect.
Yeah, I'm going to South Dakota first time ever next month for Sturgis. I'm working at. Have you ever gone there?
I have. I actually had my first pro fight in Sturgis.
Nice.
At the rally. Now that's not really going to South Dakota when you're going there during the rally.
That's more of a touristy spot, I assume.
Well, the rally is just a place of its own. It's super cool though. It's a great time for sure. But you have so many different people from all over the world going there and partying. So it's a super good time.
Yeah, I can't wait. I see the concert lineup looks pretty good. What's you're fighting in Apex? Do you prefer to fight with fans, or does it matter either way? Your fight's in Apex, correct?
No, it's actually in San Diego.
Okay.
So we actually have fighting in front of a crowd for the first time in at least 2 years, and I'm pretty excited about it. I didn't mind not fighting in front of very many people. It was cool, but I'm 2-2 in the Apex, so it I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How come you chose to fight MMA? You were a good wrestler. You were a JUCO national champ. What made you decide to fight MMA? Do you always want to do it, or?
No, I've never really been a big MMA or UFC fan. But I was wrestling in college, and there was a few guys on the team that were dabbling in it a little bit, and then some MMA fighters would come in and get some wrestling in with us. Guys like Travis View is one of them, and I forgot who the other guy was, but some decent guys. So I had a little bit of interest in it, and then I failed out of school, went back home to Sioux Falls, started working construction, still wanted to be an athlete. And I was like, let me try this MMA thing. It sounds crazy. Let me try it out. End up being good at it, and here we are.
It seems like certain fighters don't really follow the sport. Are you a fan of the sport? It seems some fighters don't watch it at all, or just watch maybe their teammates are fighting. And
I'm not the biggest fan, honestly. There's so many people that are bigger fans than me. I watch it usually if I have time, or like you said, if teammates fighting or something like that, or it's just a super good matchup. But I'm not. I usually don't sacrifice family time to go out and watch the fights and stuff like that. And my daughter usually has something else on the TV, and I don't want to go sit up in a different room and watch it. So yeah, it's I do love watching it. It's just let's be the right fights and stuff like that.
Yeah, it could be long. Like some of these cards, I don't know, like 6 hours. It seems like you can only watch so much without getting somewhat burnt out.
Yeah, and I enjoy me being a light heavyweight. I enjoy the upper weight classes anyway. So even though I shouldn't say that because there's some really good fights in the smaller weight classes too. No, I'm just being an idiot.
Who's your favorite fighters that you do like to watch? Any in particular?
It's hard to say because there's so many now. There's so many good fighters, and everybody brings a different skill set to the fight and different style in and outside the cage. I can tell you, I don't like the people that are super talkative, that talk a lot, and they have mediocre fights and stuff like that. Or if they haven't earned the right to be a big talker yet, and they just saw Conor McGregor do it, and
Exactly.
that's what they want to do, put on the accent, and there they go. But the fans seem to love it, and of course the UFC loves it because it gets them attention and stuff like that. So I'm just not that guy, so I'm not too into that.
How much tape work have you watched of your opponent? Have you watched it, or you just leave it to your coaches?
I've watched it a little bit, probably like 2 or 3 times. I'll probably watch it another 2 or 3 times, but the coaches have been studying it, and my teammates have been studying it. Because I don't like to get too obsessed with the film and fight to their style and stuff like that. Kind of, we're training what we need to train for them. And I have 100% confidence in my coaches that they're telling me to do the right things and stuff like that, and it just makes sense. Me seeing the film just a few times, it makes sense. But if I go in there and I'm watching it every day, I'm not on purpose, but you're just going to start buying into that and fighting that style. It works like that sometimes, but so I'm just not able to decipher that sometimes. So yeah.
Who's your coaches and some of your training partners at Team Elevation?
Vinny Lopez and Cody Donovan are my 2 main coaches. Then you got guys for teammates. You got guys like Curtis Blades and Zach Quagga is in the top finals now, and there's many more that we work every day.
Nice. Do you have any sponsors or any shout outs you want to give out?
No, I'm actually, I don't have very many sponsors right now.
How come? Get a good personality, get some good sponsors.
I don't try. And my take on it, because I can get some sponsors if I wanted to, but it'll be smaller sponsors, and I get free gear or whatever.
Nice.
But my take on it is I'm going to wait until I get bigger, get closer, get more fans, then I can get the good sponsors and not mess around with some of these smaller ones and wait until it's big money on the table.
So how far do you think you could take this? How much longer do you see yourself fighting?
I've always said until 40. But the game's changing. You got guys that are 40, 40 plus being champions now.
Oh yeah.
So and my style, I've taken damage, but I'm not, I'm not a blow for blow type of fighter. I like control. I wrestle. Try not to take too much brain damage, and that's the biggest thing there with the longevity and the fight fair is how much brain damage you're taking. So if I'm getting knocked out every fight, I'll just hang it up. But that's just not the case. I'll like cut up here and there and my teeth missing, whatever, that's all fixable. You can spend some money on it, you'll get new ones anyways. But so yeah, probably 40, 43, something like that.
So you got a couple of veneers or replacement teeth?
No, surprisingly no. After that Kudalaba fight, yeah, my 3 bottom teeth and my gum line got.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was gruesome. That photo. That was crazy.
Yeah, I got knocked back over my tongue, and so I'm like, oh, for sure, I'm getting new teeth. Like, awesome, whatever, like, cool. But no, the dentist, they called the dentist into the ER after the fight, and she just took her 2 fingers, pop them back into place,
That's awesome.
and anchored a wire to the other teeth. And
oh, thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate this, and good luck in your fight, and I'm sure you do well.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
talking to you.
God bless, man. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What up, Carlos?
Awesome. What's up, man? MMA fight coverage. What's going on? Appreciate this.
Oh, absolutely, man. What's going on? How you been?
I've been all right, just chilling. So when's your fight? When and where?
We're coming 2 Saturdays, August 6th. So next weekend, August 6th, Celebrity Theater. It goes down.
How can someone get tickets? Do you have your own link or anything like that?
So I have physical tickets in hand. If you know me or if you know where I train or whatever it might be, you can just grab the tickets from me or online at RUF Nation using promo code Loya, Loya.
Tell us about your gym. It seems like you guys getting fighters like all these local shows, at LFA and that Freedom Fight Night, and it seems like you guys are fighting. How many fighters do you have on this card?
On this card, we have 3. We have 3 for the RUF card. We have Enrique Barcenas. He's on a tear right now, so somebody you got to keep your eyes on. Kayla Reagan, it's going to be her debut into MMA. She's a beast. So again, another person to keep your eyes on. And then you got me. But at Baker's in general, we got a bunch of great fighters and people who come out of Baker's. We got Austin Verms, Chris the Centipede, Sandoval. We got up and comers like Greg. We got Patrick Quick. We got Virginia Marvin. We got a bunch of people there who just come out, and we got a lot of strong fighters there. A lot of strong ground game, stand up. Everything's there. Baker's is a great gym. So if you're in the Surprise area, make sure you check us out.
How much have you improved since your last fight?
I mean, and honestly, I think it's like 100% improvement in terms of what I've got. I think I was lacking a lot of tools that maybe I didn't have or wasn't aware of at the time when I fought last. But now I'm in a lot of real life situations, and I'm always fighting, always being put in bad spots. So just been able to work and get better daily with the team I got and the coaches I got, Coach Baker, Coach Sadiq, even Coach Austin. Austin Verms, I call him Coach because he's been coaching me and BJJ. So I got all these outlets that I can kind of just hit up because I'm training at the gym and they're all there. So it's been an amazing thing. And I think that's probably got the most to do with it.
So what's your background? How'd you get involved with MMA?
So originally, when I trained at my gym prior to Baker's, my trainer beforehand, I had met him years ago when I was young. So I had been training, and it was a cardio kickboxing type of class. But it kind of, when I tightened everything up and I got good at my striking and everything, we moved into more of a traditional style setting of fighting. So I did a traditional Tang Soo Do point fighting. And I would do the sparring portion. So I have really traditional looking striking in terms of when I throw my hands and feet.
So what do you know about your opponent? Have you seen him fight before? Have you watched
Yeah, I've watched some of his fights. Don't really know much about him. I believe he's from California or something like that. But a lot of the fights seem to go the distance. So I feel like if we go the distance, it'll definitely be fight of the night. So it's just something I'm looking forward to, knowing that this guy maybe likes to stand up or whatever it might be. But Again, with the guys and everything I got at my gym, I'm not really worried about anything he's got in terms of fighting, because again, I got grapplers, I got scrappers, I got everything. So if he's got it, I'm gonna eat it and see what it is, or see what he's got, and then if not, just gonna go to work and play my game.
So you're an MMA fan. I know some fighters aren't and some are. Do you watch a lot of MMA when you're not fighting?
So I'll catch fights, but I can't say that I'm really enamored with the MMA. For me, most of the time, it's kind of like it's something that I do. So it's my job, not necessarily something that I keep an eye on. But that being said, it is something that I am changing that idea because of homework and just history of the sport that I'm trying to get into. So yeah, it's definitely something I'm trying to switch over to, being enamored and knowing everybody, because it's my job.
So what's going to be your walkout song, and what are some of your favorite music that you like?
So the walkout song, I think I'm gonna reuse a song called "Too Close" by Next. It's a '90s jam, and that's probably my genre that I really dig the most. Is probably like the '90s, and a lot of Motown stuff, a lot of real groovy, funky stuff. So that's mostly my music style, to be honest.
So do you have any sponsors? And if not, why should somebody sponsor you? And do you have any shout outs, any family?
Yeah,
friends?
absolutely. Yeah, so I've got sponsors. I've got the Deli Sports Bar out in Peoria. They sponsored me in the past, so for them to sponsor again, I appreciate it. AZ Tire Shop, also out in Peoria, another friend of mine that I've known for a while, so I'm happy to support. Al's Asphalt, it's actually a cousin of mine who lives in Michigan, so I got an out-of-state sponsor also. And then I got a sponsor who always sponsored me for a while now. His name is John Wright. He's my best friend's dad, so I've known him for years. And so when he sponsors me, it's usually for a company, but I don't really want to shout out the company at this point because he's the one who's usually giving me the money. It's usually just for his company. He'll put it out there just to help out his company, but same, I'll do it again, no big deal. But John Wright, someone who's always helped me in my fights for a while now, so very appreciative. And then just go to Baker's School, and that's
Nice.
I think that's all my sponsors there. I'm still looking for sponsors, but if you do want to sponsor me, it's because I have a good head on my shoulders. I do good work. I'm working hard. I'm a hell of a fighter, hell of a show. So that's the reason to go ahead and sponsor me if you're looking for someone to.
So what do you do when you're not fighting? Do you have another job on the side, or what's your deal in general?
Yeah. So right now, just strictly training. Looking for something that just fits the hours that I need to train. Because to be honest, once it gets in the way of training, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. So right now, just training till I can find something that kind of fits exactly what would go for fitting training and still doing everything without putting a skew to my career that I want to accomplish in MMA.
So how far do you think you can take it, or how much longer do you want to fight? Do you have any set goals, like age or amount of fights?
Working hard right now, honestly, as a fighter who's 0-3, it's right now just getting wins and securing a reputation of not someone who's just going to lay down and take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I can just keep getting better and better, I'll let time tell. If it's something that it's just not working out for me, obviously I won't put my body through that hell if I'm not making enough progress. But again, I've been fighting not a lot. I obviously don't have hundreds of fights or anything like that, but I've been fighting since I was 18. So it's something that I've always done, something that's always been a part of my life. So it's not something that I can just jump out of, because I've tried. I thought I'd never fight again, and here I am jumping into the ring in a week and a half. So
Exactly.
it's
Well, thanks. Good luck. I'm upset I can't go. I just got a job working in Sturgis that week. So if not, I would be there. But, man, good luck, and I'm sure you're going to do well. And good luck to your team.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. It was great talking to you, and hopefully I'll see you. I'm sure I'll see you at another event.
Yeah.
I've already seen
Definitely
you at 10.
at some fights or something.
Yeah, I've already seen you at like 10 events. So
Exactly. All right, man. It was awesome talking to you, and have a good night.
You have a great night. Thank you, my man.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it.
What's up?
And thanks for doing this. This is MMA fight coverage. How's it going?
Pretty good. Just the echo from my garage. My coach is training with some students.
Oh, nice. You had an amazing fight last week or the other week. It was crazy because the week before I went to LFA and it was a 14-second KO. I don't think nothing was going to top that. Then the next week you do your thing.
Shoot, you should have went to my LFA fight in Belton, Texas, where the guy quit.
What round did he quit at?
Quit after the first round.
Damn.
Yeah, if you watch the fight, it wasn't always going my way, but I kept fighting. I threw down at the very end. He just didn't want to fight no more.
Yeah, as long as you got that heart. Can you walk us through your fight, even though it was quick, that 12-second?
Might be able to explain it in 2 seconds.
Yeah, basically.
So, when I got in the cage, I had Tito and my coach. They were in my corner and stuff like that. I'm waiting for him to walk out, getting ready. And judge looked at me. Judge looked at him. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's fight. And so, I go out there, and the whole game plan was to stay at his weak side. When I studied this guy, there was 8 months in between his fights. So, I wish it wasn't so linkage. I could see more details in his fight game. If it got better, if it got worse. But he had a great too. He had a strong left hand. A very strong left hand. So I'm staying away. I'm not going to run into your left hand. So I circle towards his jab hand. And, they know it. I do more of a Dominic Cruz kind of footwork, a lot of movement. So I was circling to my left, staying away from his left. And he finally got me on the backside of the cage. I was kind of, they said, catch him. I heard his corner. He goes, catch him when he switches stance. I said, oh, really? Oh, really? And then he threw that lead high kick, which I didn't prepare for a lead high kick. I prepared for his back leg high kick. I prepared for his back leg body kick. And his lead leg kicks the leg, but, potato. So, I wasn't prepared for it. I just wasn't prepared. I had my hand up. It grazed over my head. And I was just like, okay, now we're in a fight. And a lot of history of my fights, I don't get into the fight until I get hit. Don't ask why. It's just I don't feel like I'm in the fight until I get hit. And I realize I'm in a fight. And I start fighting back.
You wake up, they say sometimes those are knockouts. When you drop somebody, they could be out for a second, but immediately, wakes them up.
Exactly.
How much
after you kicked me? What's up? Oh,
sorry. Were you saying
after you kicked me, he threw another punch. I moved out of the way of it. I did the switch step, moved my head off center. He glazed. I counter with the hook. He dipped under. He bobbed under it. So when he bobbed under it, he went to his left side. So it put him in perfect alignment. So all he had to do was just throw I think it was a hook or a two. I can't remember. It might have been a two. I think it was a two. He threw the two. It hit me. Now, I watched the fight probably 100 times because, I can watch it 100 times in 1 hour. So when it hit me, my feet were squared up. So they weren't sugar foot. So I didn't have a lead foot. So when he hit me, my feet were squared. So there's nothing I can embrace the punch. So it just caught me off guard. My hand, it went up. I keep telling everybody, my hand went up. I swear my hand went up. And it did. But he did such precision, he hit the chin. It just put me down. Now in my in-fight interview, I said I caught him with a check hook. I didn't know I got knocked down. But he caught me down. He hit me down. And I don't know. I can't explain it how I did it. You can watch it hundreds of times. Like, how is this possible? I put my left hand down to catch myself, got up to my feet, and just threw the left. I didn't throw the right. I threw the left, which I don't know how I can be on my ass 1 second, and a split second later, I'm up and throwing a punch. And where his mistake was he thought he knocked me out with his punch. He thought one punch, I won. What's up? You know what I mean? Because you could see it. When he clocked me, for a split second, he just relaxed and just like, I won. Because he thought he won. He thought I was going to have an easy fight. One punch, he wins. He goes home. But I got up. So in that moment where him relaxing, I got up. He threw his left hand, I threw mine, and mine landed first. He didn't see it coming. He was out.
Remind me, I think Roy Jones used to say it's the most dangerous animal is a wounded animal. So as soon as they're hurt, you just got to be careful. You never know.
Yeah, most definitely. He actually should have engaged me. Once he hit me, he should have just pounced on me, and we would have seen what happened after that, because I would never expect that.
So how soon do you want to fight again?
Tomorrow. I talked to I found out today that I won knockout of the night for Freedom Fight Night.
Oh, of course.
So
it can't be 12 seconds.
But yeah, I guess not. So I just won knockout of the night, and I talked to the promoter I talked to Sophie, who's in charge of picking fighters. She talked about possibly searching for a fight. I have a couple other promotions. Fury, I used to fight with them. They're possibly thinking maybe they'll give me they'll bring me back in the fold. I've been hit about a lot of promotions back in early summertime, so I'm a free agent. When I want to fight again, I was hoping September, but I haven't heard nothing now, so it's probably gonna get pushed back to October, and that's when Freedom Fight Night's gonna do another one. So yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
October's probably my best bet.
Is there any particular people that you want to fight again, like somebody you lost to, or doesn't really matter?
It really doesn't matter. Of course, everybody would like to get a revenge off their loss. I bet my last two opponents want a rematch.
Especially the
But
last one, definitely.
They ain't getting one.
Oh, exactly. Like maybe in the future after 10, 20 fights, but yeah, no, exactly.
Now I'll be old and retired in the middle of nowhere. But there is one opponent. I fought him in Victoria, Texas. For who did I fight for? I can't remember. I fought for a promotion out there. I lost that fight, and the ref I think stopped it too quickly. I'm not much of a brawler, even though I just won by 12 seconds. But I'm not much of a brawler. I don't like brawling. I like sticking and moving. But that fight right there, I went in. I got in a little brawl. He caught me. I dropped. He hit me. He missed me once or twice, and the ref called it. I think it was an early stoppage, because even the UFC, they had a bad stoppage this past couple of weeks. But I'm hoping October for sure, because I do lots of things to make money in these days. And November and December, I'm sometimes busy.
What kind of other work you do?
Well, I'm just trying to hustle. I raise quail for hunters. Hunters. I raise quail. I grew up on a farm. My family raised me up on a farm. I raised pigs, chickens, name it. I raised it, except rabbits, even though I killed rabbits. But I raised animals, and my father got into raising quail for hunters. Hunters would come buy them, they fly them for their dogs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so when I got back from college, my father said, "Hey, I'm raising quail." And I said, "I like feeding quail. Let's do this." So I've been raising quail for 5, 6, 7+ years, and I'm kind of, I do all the raising. Me and my father work together. I do most of the raising. That makes quite a bit of money. You're growing. I'm still young and trying to learn the business. I'm also part of a circus.
I was going to ask you about that. I saw your Instagram, but we'll keep talking. I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, it's a weird subject. You go from fighting, raising quail, a circus.
The circus. I mean, you got to be the Circus du Soleil type. Like the bodyweight workouts are crazy. So I can see how that's going to work, and you're doing flips and stuff like that. That's going to help your fighting.
I try to do that. I do the best I can, but I'm part of a circus called Circle V. It's a Houston organization, a Houston circus, and we travel all over, do performances. I've been to Texas Renaissance Festival. I've been at that one. I've been at Waxahachie Renaissance Festival. Done plenty of festivals. A German festival up in Tomball. All kind of festivals I've worked at. I'm actually performing this weekend.
Good luck. Where are you performing at this weekend?
It's in Beaumont. It's at a bull riding show at the Bell Ford Center. I think it is. So it's pretty fun, you know. Go do my thing.
Where are you training at right now? Who are you training with?
Who I'm training with? I train at it's called Texas Striking in Dickinson, and then I have my coach who's talking in the garage right now, teaching people. His name is David Boyer. He's my coach. He's my jiu-jitsu grappling coach. Me and him we've been probably training for, I want to say, 7 years. 7 years, me and him. He's been my grappling coach.
So what's your athletic background? Like, what got you into MMA? And
Oh, a bet, like any stupid thing, a bet. So I played college football up at West Texas A&M, and at the time I roomed with about 7 guys. It was the animal house, we called it. But we partied there, and I was doing college, and it was the end of the semester, and I kind of got tired of football just because school and football is 2 full-time jobs, and I just wasn't mature enough, and I was getting tired and getting burnt out. And so one day, a friend of mine, after I quit school, he betted me I couldn't survive an MMA training. I said, I can do MMA. I've done college football. Come on, I can do MMA. So I go train with him. This is up in Amarillo. I go train with him, and I trained with him once, twice, and I just kept rolling with it. I just show up and train. Didn't think anything of it. I just, something to do. You know what I mean?
is West Texas A&M, is that the same as West Texas? Did they change the name to what? So that's a famous one with pro wrestlers, the West Texas. I don't know if you know about that one. That came out of there back in the day.
They used to be called West Texas, but now it's West Texas A&M up at Canyon, Texas.
Okay. D2 school, correct? Or NAA? I forgot.
D2, yeah, definitely D2. Well, I don't know anymore. I don't keep track of them, but,
What position did you play?
It was like an outside linebacker / defensive end. I'd rush the quarterback a lot, or I'd be dropping back in coverage.
Nice. If you would have took football seriously, do you think you could have went to the next level, or just wasn't your thing?
In football?
Yeah.
If there was a different path, I possibly could have. It's possibly I could have got a shot at the pros, possibly. But, everybody has their limitation. And, my goal in football was to make it to college football. I did it. I got to start for 1 whole year. I did great. We made all the way to semifinals, lost in the semifinals. But, I figured that's a pretty good goal, The only way I can go any higher is being in the finals, which, you feel your team, you're like, man, we're going to be good next year. But it's possible, but, a lot of things that would have to go my way, and school wasn't my way.
Yeah. So how far do you want to take his MMA, or how far do you think you could go?
UFC champ.
That's good.
I'm just kidding. But it's like a roller coaster. I'm going to ride this ride until my body gives up, or I don't want to fight no more. I'm going to fight until one day I'm going to wake up and just look at like Cowboy Cerrone or a lot of the other guys who are retiring lately. They got up one day and they're just like, this is not fun anymore. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's going to become a time where it's just becomes not very fun and just tiring. You're just like, it's not worth it. You know what I mean?
Injuries.
So I'm going to ride the ride until I can't ride no more.
Yeah. So do you have any sponsors, or do you want to shout out to anybody?
I wish I had sponsors. The sponsor stuff is hard to do, but a shout out to shout out to Circle V, my circus. They helped me with my shorts. Shout out to Freedom Fight Night. They gave me the shot to put on a show in front of people. Everybody got to saw it. I like it. Shout out to Texas Striking.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate this, and good luck to your next fight, and hopefully I'll be there.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir. This is a great opportunity, sir.
Thank you, man.
You have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.